terrible piano playing for a moment. Do you know the song? Do you know the hymn? It's an old one that I grew up on long ago. Listening to, it's one of the first songs I learned to play. Hello, Anna Larrabee. Nice to see you with us. Do you know this piece? It's an old hymn. Okay, well, don't get too mad at me. It was written in 1935, which for me is old. But to be honest, that's, I guess, kind of a newer hymn, that it was written in the 20th century. First person to type in on Facebook what the name of this hymn is, you might receive something from me in the mail. Know what it is yet? Nice job, Ellen Brownson, Miss Janaea Duke. Spirit of the Living God. It's a wonderful old hymn that I grew up singing, playing, loving the words and knowing the tune. Yolanda, welcome all the way down from, not Queen Creek, where are you, Yolanda? I forget. Doug Thompson, nice to see you. Maricopa, that's where you are, Yolanda. Nice to have you with us. So it's Pastor Steve Meldy. It is Faith-Filled Fridays. I have a couple things to share with you today, a couple things to challenge you with today. I don't know if all of you received my daily journey to Pentecost for the month of May, but I encourage you to go onto our website. You'll find it under the pastor's blog. That's where we've put it with the Wednesday messages, I think. And you'll find it posted there so that you can get it. If you want a physical printed copy, just call us in the office, 520-886-5535, 520-886-5535. And Stella can mail you one of those. Jean Rosine, how nice to have you here. But today's message that I wrote came from Psalm 139. Lord, you have searched me and known me. You know when I sit down, when I rise up, you discern my thoughts. It's just this beautiful portion of Psalm 139 that I included in the study. I left out the yucky part of Psalm 139, but I'm going to share that with you now. Psalm 139 is this wonderful, wonderful psalm about trusting and knowing that God is with us and God is all around us, and that there's nowhere we can go that God is not already there with us. So Kathy Hutchins, nice to see you. Yolanda, that's what I thought. You were in Maricopa. Nice to have you with us. When you get later into Psalm 139, you discover some really interesting parts of the personhood of the one who wrote Psalm 139. Clearly, Tammy, nice to see you. Clearly, the psalmist was having a rough time. clearly the psalmist had some enemies. And despite the challenges of life and the enemies around him, which could most likely have been some people that were making fun of him, or I don't know what they were doing. Perhaps there are other enemies like temptation and things like that were plaguing the writer. But I think this writer was plagued by some people who didn't like him and had a rough time with him. And later on, in verse 19 of Psalm 139, it says this: "Oh, that you would kill the wicked, O God, and that the bloodthirsty would depart from me. Those who speak of you maliciously and lift themselves up against you for evil. Do I not hate those who hate you, O Lord? And do I not loathe those who rise up against you? I hate them with perfect hatred." Oh my God. "Test me and know my thoughts. See if there's any wicked way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting." Are you kidding me? Test me and see if there's any wicked way in me, and I hate my enemies. I loathe them. Those are wicked ways. We know as Christians that Jesus calls us to love and pray for our enemies, and not to pray for their demise and death, but in the midst of enemies that are around us, to pray for the ending of that pressure and that abuse and all of that. But perhaps our prayer is that they come to justice, but our prayers shouldn't be about loathing and hating. Hey, Rada, nice to see you with us today. Our prayers ought to be about grace and being filled with grace, because that is the example that Jesus gave us. And so we have to be careful in our Christian journey to not only know that God is with us and around us, but to allow that Spirit of God that's with us and around us to really control our whole being, our whole thinking, our whole acting. Ruth Vandenbosch, how nice to see you online. And Myra, it's always good to connect with you. We miss you back here in this congregation that you were so faithful with. So anyway, in Psalm 139, it starts out with this beautiful words of faith and challenge to know that God is with us. And then it moves in the middle to this time when the psalmist tries to get God on his side and say, "Look, I hate those who hate you and I loathe them completely." And then the psalmist says, "And look inside me, and if there's anything imperfect, change it." Not realizing that hatred and that loathing was exactly what needed to be changed. So for those of you who are doing this journey to Pentecost with me that I wrote, it's posted on our website under either the pastor's blog or the Wednesday messages. I think they're both the same, but it's there. We can get you a printed copy. Kimmy, love you. Glad to have you here, my dear niece. Anyway, today's challenge is to look beyond knowing that God is with us and allowing that knowledge that God is with us all around us, goes with us in every part of us, to change every part of us, to help us bring about peace in this world. And so that's a part of why I return to this hymn. Listen. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Melt me, mold me, fill me. Use me, Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. What I appreciate about this hymn, it's really a prayer. And it's not really asking God for something so much personally, like you and I have been doing a lot of lately, right? It's a prayer to ask God to help us be more God-like, more loving and caring and filled with God's Spirit. Hey, Debbie Hobbs, how nice to see you, my friend from college life. And so this Spirit of the living God is this hymn that I sing in my mind, in my heart, in my soul, and sometimes through my mouth. Sometimes as I begin the day, sometimes in the middle of the day, sometimes at the end of the day. And so I bring this hymn to you on this Faith-Filled Friday so that you can carry it into your own home and in your own life. My hope is that our time together in worship here on the campus prepares us to live our faith wherever we are. And I'm beginning to discover in the midst of this stay-at-home coronavirus thing that sometimes the church really only prepared people to be at the church. How sad is that? And so I'm learning that we need to do some more preparations for people to live their faith at home and connect to them at home. Listen. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Melt me, mold me, fill me, use me. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Listen. Sometimes you need to listen to God instead of talk to God. You gotta sense what God is saying to you. Sometimes He might tell you to get some piano lessons. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Bart Kimball, nice to see you. Laura Riley, nice to have you in from Oregon. Melt me, mold me, fill me, use me. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Imagine that would be our prayer in these times. And the goal of the prayer is to not only be aware of God's presence, like Psalm 139 tells us we can be, but the goal is really about becoming so aware that God is with us, that we, in a sense, take on that character of God, because when you know God is right there with you, you straighten up. Hey, it's like when mom or dad came in the room, everything straightened up, right? And you acted like you were supposed to act. And my prayer is that we'll do that every day, everywhere. And that in the midst of this coronavirus pandemic, we're learning to be more compassionate and passionate about our faith, even at home, wherever we might be. And so use the words of this hymn, use the tune of this hymn to listen, to let God come into you as God always wants to do, to surround you, to fill you above and before and below and around. There's no place that you can go that God is not already there with you. Now the challenge of faith is to let God fill you. Spirit of the living God, Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Melt me, mold me, fill me, use me. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Let God work in your life. Let God direct you. Let God fill you. Let God use you. I hope the tune to this song is stuck in your head all day long. I hope it annoys you completely. I hope you can't forget it all day. I hope you fall asleep to the sound of this song, to the words of this song, so that it just wraps you completely. Caleb, oh my God, Caleb. I'm so embarrassed about my playing today in front of our musicians. Our musicians here at our church have nothing to fear. Neither do our former musicians. Caleb, nice to see you. I loved watching Caleb Nahira make bread. Oh my gosh, you guys need to find him on Facebook and social media. He's awesome making homemade bread, and it's just really fun to watch. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Melt me, mold me, fill me, use me. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. May that be our prayer all day long, all through this stay-at-home time, and until we're able to come back together and sing it together and pray it together. Tracy, nice to see you. If you've missed most of this and you're just coming on now, I'll post it. It'll archive. I encourage you to go back and watch it if you forget the tune, which I doubt you're going to. Go back and watch it again. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Hey, Sharon Beck, Pam Cullop, nice to have you here. Listen, folks, I really do hope that tune gets stuck in your head all day long, so that it comes out of your heart and your mind and your soul and your strength and your mouth, and that together we Christians show the world how life can be lived when we trust in God through Jesus as our Christ. However things are going for you in the stay-at-home process and the process of the state of Arizona opening up and you being able to go out into the world again, may you know the peace of God that surrounds you, like Psalm 139 reminds us, is there with us. And let go of the bitterness that sometimes we all get, and simply let the Spirit fill you. No, I don't know yet when we'll be back. We're working on it. Our safety team meets again this week. Heather Brownson, how nice to have you with us too. Joy Street, nice to see you. Don't be impressed that I can play. It's 4/4, 1 flat. It's pretty easy. And trust me, I practiced. But folks, I don't know yet when we'll be back. We're working on protocols for when we come back. We'll let you know. I'm going to bet you for us, it's probably safest to wait until early to mid to late June. Though I know the state is beginning to open up. We're just in the beginning phases of people being out in public. The wisest thing for us to do is to wait a little bit yet, let a couple of weeks go by before we come back together to see if there is a resurgence. We'll be following some very strict protocols about when we come back, encouraging people to bring and wear their masks, asking people to sanitize their hands as they come in and leave the sanctuary, all sorts of things that we'll be doing. We'll probably be opening up with some small group possibilities here at the church, but we have to know that we have all of the disinfectant that we need to be able to clean a room before and after its use so that it's ready for next use. We have a lot of things to figure out in the midst of this. So please be patient with us. We're going to err on the side of caution before we bring us back together. Until then, we're going to give thanks that we're able to do this online. I'm inviting all of you, Nancy Pinkerton, my friend from Michigan. How I miss you. It's good to see you. I hope the Carolinas are doing well for you. Folks, better safe than sorry, Gene. You are right, and that's what we're going to be doing. So keep watching us online. As you well know from watching this, we have 3 ways that you can be live with us and or archived: through our website, which is www.cpctucsonaz.org, through our Facebook page, which is Christ Presbyterian Tucson, through our YouTube page, and it'll post live or archive there. Our hashtag is CPC Tucson AZ, CPC Tucson AZ. Share this. Invite others to join us next Friday. I'm not sure what I'm going to be talking about or where we're going to be broadcasting from, but thank you for spending some time with me today on this Faith-Filled Friday. May you live Psalm 139, or at least the opening part of it. Let the middle part of Psalm 139 go. Let God's Spirit come over you. Linda Grijalva grew up in this church. Nice to see you with us. We will continue online even after we're back in person. There's going to be a lot of people who are not able to come back for any number of reasons. And so we are going to continue online as we always have. We are looking at how do we be creative about being up close and personal online and yet also attentive to those in the room. So help us, guide us, let us know what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what ideas you have. But folks, let's come back into spirit before we leave. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Sing it. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Join me. Melt me, mold me, fill me, use me. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Much love to you all, much grace and much peace. Cheryl, nice to have you with us. Share this to your sites. Listen for God. One more time on the tune, and then I'll sign off. Grace and peace to you live from the sanctuary of Christ Presbyterian Church in Tucson, Arizona. This is Pastor Steve Meldy signing off. May you all know the grace and peace and the joy and the hope of God's presence in your lives. Let that Spirit fill you completely, that God might use you completely to share that grace with others. Amen. See you Sunday. See you again.